Ahead on Q2, a disappearance of a different kind.
I've contacted just about everyone I know, and everyone I know has reached out and posted her everywhere that they can think to reach.
One local woman calling on investigators and the community as her show horse goes missing. And on the prowl,
we've got everything that's got teeth and claws.
One government hunter has come face to face with Montana's wildlife for more than 40 years. We'll hear some of his stories. The MTN 430 News starts right now. Well, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Russ Riesinger. One Yellowstone County woman is seeking the community's help after her 5-year-old show horse went missing. And with show horses costing thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, she fears something more sinister could have happened to Zap, believing she was stolen. Our Hannah Pettiferi has more on this case and what the owner hopes to see done.
I don't know how long she possibly has been gone.
Jessica Marin learned Sunday that her horse Zap was missing.
Messaged me and said that his buddy said that she wasn't where she was supposed to be.
The horse went missing near Pryor Road, just south of Billings. Now Jessica is hoping someone will be able to find her.
Right now I'm posting as far and wide as I can get her.
Not knowing what happened, Jessica is contacting everyone she can to bring her horse home.
I have the Brandon office involved. I've talked to the sheriffs. I've called the Bureau of Indian Affairs because it's right there on the border of the res. Maybe she's wandered over. Maybe someone took her over. I don't know.
An investigator from the Department of Livestock said this is her third horse case in Yellowstone County that she's worked on in the past couple of years. From sharing on social media to talking to law enforcement.
I've sent in reports that have said that this horse is stolen.
Jessica asking the community for help.
She's a very sweet mare. If you see her, she'll let you come right up to her. I'm hoping that she's just wandered off. If you see her, grab her, call the PD, call anyone, find me on Facebook, Jessie Marin.
In the end, no matter the reason, she just wants Zap, one of her 5 horses, home.
Pretty devastated, and it's hard definitely right now at the time because I've got a lot on my plate.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
We now know the name of the man suspected of setting fire to a Southside Billings residence. 27-year-old Reese Gray of Hardin was arrested Saturday night after witnesses reported seeing him running away from the apartment. Gray was eventually arrested several blocks away from the scene. That fire broke out around 6:45 Saturday evening at 2724th Avenue South. 3 people were treated for minor injuries, and a cat was found dead inside the apartment. Gray's facing possible charges of arson, criminal endangerment, and animal cruelty. The Justice Department has filed a federal hate crime charge for the suspect in a horrifying flamethrower attack in Boulder, Colorado. Police now say 8 people were injured in the assault, which unfolded yesterday afternoon at a weekly gathering to support Israeli hostages in Gaza. Police say 45-year-old Mohammed Solomon used a makeshift flamethrower and bottles filled with flammable liquid to attack the crowd. He was then seen yelling anti-Israel comments as he tried to leave the scene. Homeland Security says Solomon overstayed his visa and was in the country illegally. Ukraine launched a widespread drone attack on Russia yesterday. Ukraine says that operation took out more than 1/3 of Russia's strategic bombers, and at least 5 airfields were hit deep inside Russian territory. Those attacks coming just as peace talks are set to begin. Remy Inocencio has more.
Bomber after Russian bomber blown to pieces in explosion after explosion in Ukraine's Operation Spider's Web, targeting 5 Russian air bases across the country. The closest about 300 miles from the war's front line, the furthest more than 3,700 miles away in Russia's Far East. More than 100 FPV, or first-person view drones, were hidden in the roofs of these containers, smuggled into the country. The roofs, retractable, opened remotely, mere miles from each base, making it one for the history books, said Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. A brilliant operation was carried out, he said, and the people who helped us are safe, extracted from Russia before the operation. He also claimed Ukraine's office for this attack was inside Russia, next to one of the regional headquarters of Russia's FSB, likened to the FBI. No one was reportedly killed. But in 2 bridge collapses over the weekend, at least 8 people died and 89 others were injured near Russia's border with Ukraine. Moscow considers these possible acts of terrorism. Ukraine has not claimed responsibility. And this morning, Russia launched 2 ballistic missiles and more drones in Ukraine's northeast. At least 6 people were hurt there. And this is the harrowing backdrop against peace talks that just began in Istanbul. Rami Inocencio, CBS News, London.
We saw the bulk of the rain last evening through this morning. We're at the Billings Airport and several other reports hovering right around a ½ inch around Billings and Yellowstone County. You can see a few showers, isolated thunderstorms, little flickers of lightning still showing up on Doppler radar here this hour. I'm going to back the view up a little and you can see where the showers are starting to shift into northeastern Montana. So a few stray showers, isolated thunderstorms throughout the evening hours of tonight. Things will start to quiet down in the short term and we could pick up a few hundredths of an inch in especially areas of northeastern Montana, but I'll take the clock ahead into later into the week. We'll see a chance of showers over a widespread area, but not a lot of accumulation. Warming temperatures as well. We'll talk about the forecast coming up.
President Donald Trump announced last Friday that he's doubling tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum. That move could impact the price that Americans pay for big-ticket items like cars and washing machines. Ava Joy Burnett has more on the effect it could have on everyday goods like groceries.
President Trump announcing increased tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum.
We're going to bring it from 25% to 50%, the tariffs on steel into the United States of America.
The move will likely impact the cost of big-ticket items like washing machines and cars. But it could also hit consumers at the grocery store, says economics professor Andreas Walkirch.
If you look at all the packaging, like how many cans we have, lots of steel and aluminum goes into those kinds of things.
Manufacturers may pass the increased cost of producing those cans onto consumers.
It's going to mean higher canned food prices across the board for American consumers.
Robert Budway is the president of the Can Manufacturers Institute and says domestic tin steel production has decreased in recent years, forcing manufacturers to become more reliant on foreign imports.
We're almost 80% beholden to foreign steel companies because of the pullback from domestic steel makers in the tin mill market.
The Trump administration says the tariffs will protect U.S. steel workers' jobs, but that could come at a cost to consumers.
The benefits of tariffs are certainly there. It's easy to point at, hey, here's a few hundred or few thousand jobs that were actually created. The problem is that the costs of these tariffs, they are much, much more diffuse because they're diffused over millions and millions of consumers.
Ava Joy Burnett, Scripps News Group, Washington.
For recent college graduates, a dose of bad news. Economists say this is the worst job market in years for young people. The overall national jobless rate stands at 4.2%. However, Oxford Economics says the unemployment rate for people aged 22 to 27 with at least a bachelor's degree is consistently higher than the national rate. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the unemployment rate for those aged 20 to 24 is even worse at 8.2%, almost twice as high as the national average. Overall, though, this is a resilient U.S. job market. The economy has added jobs for 52 months in a row, the second longest streak of uninterrupted job growth in U.S. history. From coyotes and wolves to mountain lions and grizzly bears, Mike Hogan saw it all during 42 years as a government hunter. Not only did he help relocate animals, he also helped countless farmers and ranchers avoid losing livestock to predators. And he compiled some of his more memorable stories in a new book. In tonight's Montana Ag Report, MTN's Tim McGonigal introduces us to Mike and a rancher who is thankful for his help.
I've been around and done a lot of different things and stuff, but I've never been away from the ranch very long.
At 73, Carl Rappold has ranched west of Depuyer most of his life.
I always come back here because this is home and it means everything to me.
It's hard work.
There's no relaxing days when you're on the ranch, you're fighting Mother Nature all the time.
Made even tougher by an ever-increasing spread of predators over the last several decades.
We've got everything that's got teeth and claws. I mean, mountain lions, wolves, grizzly bears, black bears, even the eagles are starting to grab a few baby calves now.
It's a lot to handle on your own.
I enjoyed every bit of it.
Which is where the USDA's Wildlife Services with specialists like Mike Hogan come in.
Mike was the type of person that you could trust him, whether he was working for the U.S. government or what. When Mike told you something, he was going to do it.
I don't think anybody dealt with what I dealt with up here.
Mike's career started in 1978 on a Nevada sheep ranch.
While I was there, I experienced firsthand, what coyotes do, and I met, the government trappers, this and that, and so that's what I wanted to do.
After 10 years of living in a sheep wagon, he eventually made his way to Valier, where in 1992 he became a wildlife service specialist.
I always thought that our agency, Wildlife Services, USDA Wildlife Services, did more for the recovery of the grizzly bear than anything.
Since retiring in 2020, Mike runs a sheep operation with his wife Maureen, but he also found time to put his experiences into a recently published book, Between Predator and Prey, 42 Years as a Government Hunter.
Well, this book tells the story of Wildlife Services and one person that worked for them.
It's more than just a collection of funny and sometimes frightful stories.
You got it all. You got the grizzly bears, the mountain lions, the wolf.
And he says those predators often get a bad rap.
I guess in a way I worked for all these innocent grizzly bears that are not causing problems, trying to get that one that's doing it.
Reflecting on his career, Mike takes pride that he worked in a field not typical of most government jobs.
I always kind of joked it was one of the few government programs that you drive in with a government pickup and you might have a little crack of a smile on your face that you're going to be there to help them,
A helping hand ranchers like Carl are thankful for.
He didn't become a government hunter or trapper to you. He became a friend, and whenever you needed help, Mike was here to help.
Near Valier, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.